We scour the district in pairs. Isabeau, you and Lafayette take the high street from the south end. Galahad and I will move in from the north.
Why not give the Frenchman to Galahad?
Mademoiselle doubts my intentions. I promise to remain at all times the picture of chivalry.
Welcome to another edition of Got Gameplay on YouTube. Every week we do this where we take a look at a new video game and take a look specifically at the gameplay of this video game. If you're interested in more video game chatter, check out our radio show. It's on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Just Google Sportsnet and Got Game and you'll find it. We broadcast across Southern Ontario, so if you live in Toronto, Kitchener, Ottawa, those are the cities that we are in every week. You can find us there. Check your local stations.
Or on the internet.
Or on the internet, or on iTunes. We podcast there. We podcast at TuneIn. We podcast the show everywhere. But the easiest way to find it is literally Google Sportsnet Got Game. That will literally always take you to our show page where all our stuff is. So that's the easiest way for you to find us. But as I said before, on YouTube every week we also do what we call Got Gameplay, where we look at gameplay from, well, quote-unquote games. This week is going to be a little harder, though, Momin, because Momin Qureshi is joining us.
Yep.
Well, there is gameplay in the Order 1886, but it's very, very mixed in terms of there's going to be gameplay, and then there's going to be cutscenes, and they go back-to-back, and it's hard to tell exactly what's what unless you're playing it. But right now, can you figure out exactly if I'm playing or not?
No. I'm going to guess you're not playing at this point.
I'm currently not playing. This is a cutscene.
Oh, now it looks like you're walking.
Now I'm walking, yep. But the thing about the Order is that gameplay is a weird term to throw at this. I'm not totally sure that there actually is a word to really describe exactly what the Order 1886 is because, well, gameplay sort of describes a freedom I don't believe this game has. This game is more of a tour where it says, hey, you should be looking at this, or we want you to walk down this hallway and just look at all these cool things we did over here. And even though there are cases where I get to actually walk the character, I'm not really doing much more than just walking into the next situation and picking up whatever items on the table, like here, where I found this pipe. And you can't hear any audio right now because, well, that would be confusing. If we were talking, they were talking. But I picked up the pipe, and the guy said, oh, these coals, they're still warm. The guy who was in here just left. We should be careful. And now I sort of just walk along until I find another thing to interact with. But it's not like I had a choice on how to do this. I literally just walked. I literally just moved from one set piece to the next. And that's what the Order 1886 is. And I think that's why a lot of people have a problem with it, as we look at one of the strangest mechanics in the game, where
it's an apple.
Yes, but I have to rotate it in my wrist, and I do this a lot, where I pick up an object, and the game makes you look at it and examine it from different sort of angles until it is ready to let you move on. So, yeah, I mean, that's the general idea of the Order 1886.
That seems frustrating more than anything, that you have to sort of adhere to the... I mean, obviously every game you play have to adhere to the rules of the game, but that just seems, I don't want to say tedious. Tedious is what it seems like it is.
Which is why I think that the biggest criticism that you can put towards the Order is that it's boring.
Yeah.
If there was, for example, the situation where these guys are beating up this one dude, I was sitting here going, well, is this a choice I can make? Can I stop them from beating this guy?
Also, aren't you like a cop or a law enforcement dude of some sort of type?
I am a knight of the English government.
Yeah.
So I do have authority, but it's not like I'm a cop. And I think that more than anything, probably the character, if I could sort of guess sort of at what he's thinking right now, because he's not really saying anything. He's just walking through this area as you're meant to look at the horror of whatever this shelter is. And as this guy this NPC literally just pushes me back, and I forgot that happened. Literally, I just started walking, and he walks into me and it's just like, nope, this NPC gets priority, so we're going to let him push you back. If I had to guess at what he was thinking, though, about that fight back there, he probably thought that there was a bigger picture out there. That one fight really is not worth his time. That you should let a local law enforcement officer probably deal with that.
Right. Is the game only allowing you to move this slowly?
It does control speeds. I'm not entirely sure if I would have been able to press one of the sticks in. You press one of the sticks in to run. And I'm not totally sure if I would have been able to run faster at that point. I never tested it. But to answer your question sort of in a bigger picture, there are parts where the game says, okay, you will only be able to move at this speed. It's normally when you're investigating sort of rooms for clues. Because that happens a couple times throughout the game where you're just put in this room and you have to look through all this stuff to find a clue, and then that lets you move the story progress a little further. So, yeah, the game does control how fast you move sometimes, and that's also a little aggravating. So that's the negative part. Like, the negative part is I think the gameplay is boring. But to be fair, we should talk about how great this game looks.
Oh, man, does it ever look good.
And you're going from cutscene to gameplay and not really knowing the difference. There are definitely some indications in terms of like what happens that will let you know whether or not you're in a cutscene or if you're doing like gameplay. But it goes from one to the other and it looks more or less the same. So
Wow, you really just kicked the crap out of that guy.
Well, I pressed triangle. Press triangle to kick the crap out of that guy.
Yeah.
And then press triangle to listen to this lady with runny mascara cry and then sort of awkwardly walk away, which is what happens. But, yeah, the game looks good. And you can't hear it, but the voice acting is spot on. And I feel like the story, while not award-winning, will definitely get you through the game.
Right.
And, of course, it's a video game, so it has to have a lock-picking mechanic, which I don't think that the lock-picking mechanic in this game is really necessary or good. I mean, it's not really a lockpick, I don't think. You just twist the knob and then somehow, without there actually being something in there that looks like it pushes up the little pieces of the lock, it somehow pushes up those pieces of the lock.
Right.
I don't know. It's a video. I feel like someone just said it's a video game, so it has to have a lockpicking mechanic somewhere in it, and that's why we have this. But it's unnecessary.
Right.
It really is.
Huh. One of the things we're just doing a gameplay video, but one of the things you should mention that a lot of people talk about is that it is a very short campaign.
It is 6 hours, maybe 7 hours, depending on how quick you get through it. That's fine by me.
Right.
I'll be honest. That is fine in terms of length. This game would not be better if there was more of it.
Yeah, that's a fair point that a lot of people are making, is that it's not great and the time length it is. You don't want to have to do it for any longer.
Yeah.
If you had to play it for longer, how much more frustrated would you have been?
Frustration is an interesting word, which I don't think describes this. I would have still been bored. I just would have been bored for a longer period of time than I was.
Right.
And then I would have gone back and played Grand Theft Auto online a little later than I normally did.
Right.
Online Heist coming on March 10th, by the way, which I'm looking forward to that. But I will say this is one of those situations where the game has moments of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, well, this entire situation is not funny. This one scene where you're in this brothel does have moments of humor in it. And you might see one before we're done. But
yeah, I look forward to it.
But the game does have moments where it really is funny. Like, you really can't see it right now because they are, being cheeky and hiding it with the letterboxing. But, the French guy, this guy's actually French, by the way, which I'm not totally sure exactly how a French national is working for a secret organization inside the English government, but it's a video game. So the joke was that, they need to get out there. Okay, let's, pay these ladies of the night for their services. And now I guess off the, the bar floor and up here where the bad guys can't find us. So the French dude says, ladies, reach into my pockets. And, he's saying that so that, someone would go there and get his wallet. But obviously, the other one just puts her hand down his pants, and that's the joke.
Yeah, well,
so
I'd say so.
And here's another one where it's just like, oh, we're going to hide in this room. Oh, these two are having sex. Oh, hello there. Hi.
So I take it this game is rated M for mature?
Yes. Yeah, you see both men and women naked in this game. But you also see Sackboy, so that's something else. That's the end of the video. Questions before we go?
That was one hell of an ending to that video.
Yeah.
Now I
Well,
want to see more.
you'll have to actually get the game to see more.
All right. Fair enough.